y'all have heard of those, but I just want to talk a little bit about how they got where they were, got their positions. Just to talk on it a little bit. How great it is. Not only to have natural smarts, but have spiritual smarts, and it's great to have them both, not being unbalanced. Put it that way. Good morning. How y'all doing out there again? Freddie calls the checking in. Hope everything going well with everybody as always. Everybody on the up and up. Today I had in my mind today just to talk about the education. How great it is to have naturally have natural smarts as well as spiritual smarts. It's just great to have both. And I was just going to talk a little bit today about some gentlemen. Y'all have heard their story as far as with their faith, but I kind of want to hit on the natural parts of them, what they was about. Um, I'm gonna talk about Daniel, and y'all know his spiritual side story. Daniel in the lion's den. And also Meshach, Shadrach, and Meshach, and Abednego. The three Hebrew boys. In the fiery furnace. Y'all have heard of those, but I just want to talk a little bit about how they got where they were, got their positions. Just to talk on it a little bit. How great it is. Not only to have natural smarts, but have spiritual smarts, and it's great to have them both, not being unbalanced. Put it that way, because you gotta work in the natural to make an income to support yourself. That's even one of the things about being a leader. You think about the positions of a deacon and the positions of the church. God talks about how, man, I may hit on it today. If he don't know how to take care of his own household, how can he operate the house of the Lord? But you gotta have both, man. In life to be successful, you gotta have natural smarts. Some gotta be seen, and I'm gonna begin reading. If you got your Bible, turn to Daniel, the first chapter. I'm gonna read. Uh, I may skip a little bit, but I'm gonna read a little bit for y'all today. And Daniel, the first chapter, and I'm gonna start in the first verse. Here we go. In the third year of the reign of Jehoiakim, king of Judah, came Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, unto Jerusalem, and besieged it. And the Lord gave Jehoiakim, king of Judah, into his hands, with part of the vessels of the house of God which he carried into the land of Shinar, to the house of his gods, and he brought the vessels into the of treasure house of his God. And the king spake unto a Ashphianus, the master of the eunuchs, that he should bring certain of the children of Israel of the king's seed, and of the princes, children in whom was no blemish, but well favored and skillful in all wisdom, and cunning in knowledge and understanding, science, and such as had ability in them to stand in the king's palace, and whom they might teach the learning and the tongue of the Chaldean. And the king appointed them a daily provision of the king's meat and of the wine which he drank, so nourishing them 3 years, and at the end of thereof they might stand before the king. Sixth verse. Now among these were of the children of Judah Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, unto whom the prince of the eunuchs gave names, for he gave unto Daniel the name of Belteshazzar, and to Hananiah of Shadrach, and to Mishael of Meshach, and to Azariah of Abednego. So you see, I'm gonna stop right there. So you see where, if you go back to this, this fourth verse, how important, the king, in other words, the king, starting from the beginning, the king who had besieged, besieged, that mean almost like taking, that, over, pretty much, how back in the day, kings would do, take over, keep different kingdoms and everything. So in this case, this king, Nebuchadnezzar, had took over king of Judah, and all the people that was under that, they had to give heed to whatever that king who besieged them. He's over everything. So, and the main point that you go on down to the fourth verse, the thing that the king that Nebuchadnezzar wanted was knowledge. The criteria of people, because he needed people that was able to, who was smart and wise, who was able, to teach their people their stuff. So that was the criteria he wanted to see. Somebody, who had skillful in wisdom and cunning in knowledge and understanding science, and such as had ability in them to stay in the king's palace, and whom they might teach the learning and the tongue of the Chaldeans. So, some people pick up things quicker than others. So, just in the natural, that. And the king wanted somebody to learn for almost 3 years, the way they talk, in other words. And, what I'm saying, how they live. Because, like I said, he wanted to set in place, everything about him, they like I said, when you under somebody, you got to follow their rules. So that's what he wanted, and he had to choose somebody, of their group to be able to, teach their own folks how he wanted them to act. So in this instance, their natural ability and their natural knowledge had to play a part in them, getting where they were, fitting the king's criteria. My battery's going dead in one of my cameras. Up, and it's gone. But anyway, I'm gonna continue the video. I didn't want to put some little scenes and stuff in here. But anyway, this king, he wanted that, just like in the natural, when you on a job, that's the thing that they want. They want to see, get the ones that are the best fit for the position, because like I said, they want to grow. They want to be assume success. So they want the very best, that's why you have to put in a resume, and they want to know your education, where you previously worked. They want to know all that good stuff, because like I said, they want to know if you're going to be a best fit for the kingdom to, in this case, they was going to, he wanted people that were fit alongside his people, in the palace, just like in the natural in our society. Not everybody go up to work in the White House. You got to have some knowledge. You got to have some degrees. You got to be able to do stuff. So, this is where that natural ability, comes in. That, it's good to have them both, have a great relationship, with people, and people know you. They know your credentials, they know your transcript, and they want to know you as a person, skillful in wisdom and cunning in knowledge. So you think of cunning, they can get a point across, they good at what they do, good at speaking, they very good at it. So so this is where I just kind of want to, I know graduates this year. You hearing everything. You hear the normal sayings. Keep God first. Yeah. They. You get all the talk during your graduation. And they say to keep going, which I'll say the same thing. Keep going. As long as you want, you got the desire to keep going because it's great to have knowledge. That's one thing that can't be taken away from you. So I say to everybody, those who graduate, keep going, and I'm gonna give you a spiritual thing. It's great to have both a great relationship, with of course with the Lord, but it's good to get all the knowledge and stuff as you can, while you're young. But like I say, knowledge you can always be learning, as long as you live. But it's great to know to keep pushing and get as much knowledge as you can while you got the desire to, because the more it's just good to have. And a lot of times, people do say it's good, to know people, but which is great. People can help you get up there, but it's good to have the knowledge too. It can help you in today's society grow up that way. But also these gentlemen, Daniel, the story of Daniel and the lion's den. When they came up against his faith, he didn't back off. It's just like Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego, when they came up to their faith, and they didn't back down. They are both situations they was successful because that relationship with the Lord, came in. So, but anyway, man, I just want to talk about it. It's great to have both. Be exceedingly great in both. Have much knowledge naturally, because you need that. And I'm pretty sure they weren't making the same amount or that they fellow man was making, being in the king's palace. They even talk about the meat, but of course later on down the line, they didn't eat the king's meat and everything. I ain't want this video to be forever long. It's already at 15 minutes. But anyway, like I just want to say, this is what that king who besieged Nebuchadnezzar wanted. Because, like I said, for the betterment of his kingdom, he wanted people, who can bridge that gap, who were good, like I say, skillful in wisdom, cutting in knowledge. He wanted that. That's what he looked it for. A lot of people sometimes they ain't gonna know you. That's all he wanted. It's like you go do an interview, all they want to know is what ability, naturally, what you could do to help their business. So it's great to have a whole lot of that, and also, like I say, it's great to have a whole lot of spiritual wisdom. You need both. It's great to have both, and like I said, get as much as you can. As much as you can. But anyway, man, that's all I have for y'all today. As always, like I say, be safe, stay thankful, and keep God first. But like I said, never stop learning. You can always learn something. I don't care how old you get. You see people in the 70s, 80s graduating college and high school. So it is great. Good. Try to achieve as much as you can naturally. As well as spiritual. It's great to have both. I kind of want to keep stressing that. There's a lot of great leaders in the Bible. Moses, he was in Pharaoh's house for all those years and get all that great stuff. Naturally. But like I said, when it came down to it, he left. But he was wise though. I mean, he had a teacher. If you go on into the book of the New Testament, Paul, before his conversion, he was getting all that teaching, until he met God, and God chose him, that terrible man, I don't know if many know that story, but he was something else. But he thought he was doing what's right, but God chose him, to carry the word to kings and stuff, because God knew what his natural abilities were. So, like I said, some may knock natural knowledge and gaining knowledge, but I ain't gonna do that because I know what the word is. Words say, You know, it's great to have, like I say, natural knowledge on things as well as spiritual. You know, it's great to have both. You can't live without both. You know, you got to go to a job. You know, of course, you need to go to church. People say go to church, but you got to have a job. You know, to support yourself. You know, and support the house of the Lord. You know, you got to be able to understand them both. So, before I go on another rant, you know, I didn't want to leave that with y'all, man. And y'all be safe again. Stay thankful, and I'll see y'all next go round. Peace out.